if the mother is indifferent towards the womb or the growing fetus, in the developmental stages, you see that the nature of the child, he becomes very insensitive because he doesn't feel that connection with the mother or anybody around it. We all see our soul coming in the next generation. We all want that this life continues, and our aspirations we see through our children. What are the factors that influence the parenting? What is all about conscious parenting? All this we are just going to know about in this presentation. We all know that children bring joy to all of us. Their smile, their bubbly nature, their acts, their activities in the home. Even the angriest person in the house cool down after seeing a child. And that is what we also see our soul coming back in our own future, how we are blessed with children. And we take it as a blessing. And this is a cultural norm where as a new married couple comes and greets and meets, the first blessing that comes from the elders is Putravati Bhava. So they say that the children are the next progeny which continues this world to enjoy the pleasures and pains of this world and reach to some realization by experiencing and elevating our lives from one level to another level. And the moment they are in the family, it's a bundle of joy that all the parents, all those in the house will enjoy these moments. And life itself for those who are youth and just married becomes a responsible citizen once the child comes in and they are parents. And in that process, what they do is whatever they have lost, whatever they've experienced, what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad, and because of these things, what they have experienced, bitterness or happiness, and they feel that all these responsibilities become an objectives, then they impose values and discipline on the child. And sometimes this bundle of joy, sometimes over imposing of some values, some disciplines, turns out to be a burden. So where does the secret of parenting actually lies? That we all are supposed to know. And it is said that medical science, from the beginning of conception, from the time it started thinking about what the child is, how the child is growing in the womb, they always considered, till a few decades back, they considered that it's a lump of mass, which is growing in the womb, in the cellular formation from month to month. And it is nurtured by the food or the nutrition that is taken. But later they came up with the science and development that child is developing its organs and it can hear, it can taste, it can smell. And recent past, in a few decades, 2-3 decades back, somebody called Dr. Thomas Verney, he does a lot of experiments on child psychology. He's a child psychiatrist. Even today, he has written a few books in which he has written that child also feels in the womb. Now, when the child feels in the womb, what is the responsibility of the parents? He went to the extent of saying that the womb is like a classroom for the child. It is continuously grabbing, grasping, and learning certain things inside the womb. Because womb is a highly stimulating place. Whatever happens around the child will affect the child, and mother's emotion, especially during the pregnancy, mold the very nature of the child, which develops in different stages of life. Now, what we see, we will first think how difficult it is for a mother if she's undergoing these type of, what they have come up with a theory is that it is not Thomas Verney, but after Thomas Verney, several other psychologists started working and exploring and giving their theories and their research, where they said that if the mother is indifferent towards the womb or the growing fetus, in the developmental stages, you see that the nature of the child, he becomes very insensitive because he doesn't feel that connection with the mother or anybody around it. If the mother is overexcited, they say that the child may adopt some kind of acquire some kind of hyperactivity, impulsivity, and very high energy in the child. Now, if the mother is stressed because the whole blood flow is consumed by her thoughts and negativities, and she is not able to nurture the child with that positive energy, where the development becomes very poor, and the development of the child, overall development of the child, gets stunted. And if the mother is not bonding with the child, with her touch, with her smile, with her caressing, as if the child is already there in the world, and because it's a human child, she has to take care of the child like a present human being, which is coming, just it's in the womb and it's just coming to this world. The child, if that bonding is not given, the child craves for love throughout his or her life. And then it shows in adolescence, where there are breaking of relationships from one to another, in search of love. The child is searching something throughout. Now, unwanted pregnancy, sometimes in the name of planning, in the name of stabilizing in the economical status, for social status, for career and all, they just keep postponing. And sometimes it so happens that if they are pregnant, if the mothers are pregnant, then they feel that this child was not my plan, and it has just come as a hurdle, as a burden, or as something which is unwanted. And this thought, if the child catches, then the child will have suicidal tendencies. And that is what we are seeing in the process of career. Many mothers, sometimes they also try to terminate their pregnancy, and that hurts and pains. The fetus feels that I am not liked, I am not wanted in this world. And that feeling continues throughout. And that is why we are seeing the suicidal tendencies are growing more among the youth, where mothers are becoming more career oriented. Now, watching horrors and fears create the fears and anxieties in the child of darkness, because as a time pass, mothers may be watching late night movies and horror movies as a time pass, but how does that affect the child? She's unaware of. If she's unaware of, then it creates fears and anxiety to darkness, to an isolated place, to a lonely place, to some features, some characters, some animals. They get this type of fear, where we feel complaining children about this, where parents come with such kind of complaints, so it becomes a nightmare for parents to take care of the child. Now, substance dependence, it is not only restricted to males these days, even females and mothers are into some kind of substance dependence, where if during the pregnancy, if they take substance, it directly goes, because the child is in a cellular and molecular form, which is still in a liquid form. And most of these substances which create that kind of a toxic hormonal dependence, kind of a change that brings in and gets into mixed in the blood of mother. And even WHO is saying it is not small amount, it is not, but it is completely no to alcohol during pregnancy. So IQ levels of such children are seen to be, a lot of research is saying that this IQ level are very low of the children who are coming out of such kind of alcoholic dependent parent. It is applicable also to a father, not only to the mother, but also to the father. Now, becoming dependent, it's a tendency, it's a mental tendency itself altogether, where they become dependent on parents, on society, on somebody. So this is to be can be avoided. So parents not communicating, not talking with each other in the family unit where only two of them are staying, they're not connected with the society, they are living in some isolated nucleus family or somewhere, and they don't connect, they don't talk, the child doesn't listen any words during the pregnancy, it causes delay in speech and expression of the child. Apart from that, abuse, anger, resentment causes guilt, frustration, and revengeful attitude develops that in the child. So next, most important is if the parents have the attitude of a deception, toxic, very harsh kind of a behavior, erratic behavior during pregnancy, and they are unaware, they are not conscious about this, it develops into a deviant behavior in the child. From the time the child starts developing, going to school, they receive the complaints, repeated complaints of such kind of behavior. So these are the reasons why mothers are supposed to be very, very conscious about pregnancy. And all these things, initially they considered that you might have a question, why is it how come these feelings and thoughts will affect the child? Only genes will predispose in the child. But now the science says it is not only genetic predisposition, it amounts only to 20% of genetic components that are transferred to the child. But it is now understood, and it is now propagated, that epigenetic, which is called as the environment in which the children are grown, affects the fetus, and that is called epigenetic. Now you have to create that, one has to create that environment for the mothers, and emotions and moods of the mothers influence the fetus very much. Now environment definitely matters. If that environment is during the pregnancy, it equally affects the child immediately after the delivery of the child. It is even government is now recognizing it's at 1,000 days program, where mothers are given maternity leave because she has to feed, because she has to give that bonding and connection to the child. And postpartum blues, which is considered that negative experience, that painful experience of delivery process, mothers undergoing for a long time, maybe for 20 hours, 24 hours, or sometimes 36 hours, she has to experience that painful process, where she feels that no, it is enough, I just don't want to see the child, I just don't want to connect with the child. But the science, what gynecologists say, that immediately after the birth of the child is placed on the chest of the mother, and that is the first crawl that the child goes and tries to attempt and suck the milk of the mother, which doesn't happen afterwards. The child becomes starting and grows accordingly in the development stages. But the immediate crawl is because the smell, because the warmth that the mother has, and that the bonding that they have developed, the child starts crawling within a few moments of delivery. Then this is what says that this conscious interaction that is established by the mother and the child from the time of conception till a few years of delivering the child, that creates a connection which makes them understand each other well, and then the child starts learning. So this is a process, because we are all human beings, and we are a combination of an energy and material. Material can be quantified by blood, bone, all heartbeat and all that can be quantified. But something which is subtle, which cannot be quantified, you call it mind, you call it consciousness, awareness, or something. But both, like we say that this child or this boy, this guy thinks like father, thinks like mother, thinks like grandmother. So why all these things? It is a combination of these two tendencies, both material and energy is transferred to the soul, to the child. Now you make this energy, people call it in different names, like soul, you call it atma, you call it any kind of energy that is there. Now this is coming in the womb, and the different levels of energy we find, some are intelligent, some are low in intelligence, some are moderate, some are very highly intelligent, some are very sober personalities, some are very exalted personalities. So all these, they say, philosophically, if we see, they say that these souls or these jivas are existing in this world. But what type of attitude the parents develop during the period of their intimate relationship, with that attitude, the child, that energy they are attracting, and once they attract that energy, the child is growing with that attitude only. But still the mother has that potential, that time to, because the child has to come through mother to this world. So it is having some kind of a relationship where he has to have that regard for the mother, because she has given that space to come to this world, because every soul is going through a journey to reach to the ultimate, and through these processes, like from animal tendencies to human tendencies to a divine tendencies, they come up and then achieve and reach to their goals. But mother and parenting is a process through which they achieve this. So different levels of energies are attracted if they are conscious from the time of conception what type of child they want. So it depends on whether lustful child is coming because they are unconscious, or is it the prayerful attitude with which you are bringing the child to this world matters, and that brings the change in the society, what type of mindset people have in the society. So the secret lies here. So conscious parents always attract this type of higher energy, and then they prepare themselves, and that is what is planning, and not planning for their waiting for a period where they stabilize in their monetary, social, or any other kind of stability, but with an attitude that if I want one child, what is not there in me, what I see in those exalted personalities, if I want those personalities, with the prayerful attitude, with the intervention, divine intervention, if you bring the child to this world, it will be a blessing. So emotions of the mothers affect the fetus. So what type of emotions are the last outcome of the break of the energy, which is already exhaustive, which has come out. You can't do anything for that. Anger is expressed, lust is expressed, your feelings are expressed. That is what is emotion. It comes into behaviors. But before that, one feels good, bad, like something, and then that feeling, if he's conscious about this feeling, then the expression, he can regulate his or her expression. And if even before feelings, you have good positive thoughts, you have good divine thinking, you have many things that are there in your mind, where there's no space of any kind of a jealousy, negativities, anger, cravings, all this. If you eliminate this, and you try to, the mother tries to cultivate this during this period, and is aware of how it affects the fetus, then she is making that effort to purify, to refine, to give that to the child, which is not there in her, but still she is trying to bring that. So how does that how does she channelizes this energy of thought, feelings, and behaviors into a positive direction matters a lot for the child's thought process and character building.